Arthur Greeno. Arthur is the prominent owner of 2 Chick-fil-A restaurants. Chick-fil-A is one of the leading quick-service restaurant chains in the country. He's been married to his best friend Noel for 18 years and is the father of 6 children. Arthur is a published author and a nationally recognized speaker. But most importantly, he is the record breaker. It's been said that Arthur has a PhD in creativity, so when he looked for a way to market his restaurants, he did what he was programmed to do. Dream big. Really big. Like record-breaking big.
Okay. I came yesterday because I wanted to learn. I'm all about learning, and I was sitting back there with my lovely wife and some of our friends, and I was listening to Coach Jen, and I learned a couple things. So I have to stand up here and say, don't I look cute? And then when somebody else was talking, when they were talking about their elevator pitch, and was talking about how she makes men look great, my wife kind of nudged me. Don't know how to take that yet, but we may be talking later. So I'm the guy with Chick-fil-A that makes the home office nervous. When I was talking to the accounting department one time, and one of the guys in the accounting department said to me, when we talk about Arthur Greeno, what we say is, there's a rule that was made about Arthur Greeno, or there's about to be a rule made about Arthur Greeno. And sadly, as far as my family goes, my creativity goes far beyond just Chick-fil-A. Last year, we decided to open up our pool for the summer with a bang. And so we have 6 kids, and I said, why don't we go ahead and invite some friends over? And so they came over, and I said, you know what, let's spice this up a little bit. So we decided to call a friend of mine who had some alligators and put them in the pool, and then put the kids in the pool with them. And we taped their mouths shut. I mean, not the kids, the alligators, okay? And because their mouths, when they open their jaws, you can basically hold it shut. So we took electrical tape and we taped it shut. And so I was standing there as I'm watching all the kids playing, and I was kind of getting bored. When Arthur gets bored, it's really bad. And so I thought, well, let's have some fun. So I took about this much electrical tape, and I just threw it in the water and let it float, and it was kind of floating there at the top. And I said to one of the kids, I said, what is that? And they looked over, and he picks it up, and it was like all the eyes got on him at that time. And then all of a sudden, it was just, I mean, it was like Jaws, you know, when everybody come running out of the water. And so, yes, my kids will end up having therapy because of me. But it could have been worse. I guess I could have been out there in my Captain America underwear. Then they would really need therapy. But my wife constantly says, Arthur, you are a twisted, twisted man. And she's right. I'm twisted. I'm actually twisted all the way to the core. You see, I have scoliosis. And so if you're looking at me, you're going, that guy's kind of standing crooked. And you're right. I am standing crooked. Which benefits me. It serves me now as I'm older. It gets me out of things like hanging pictures. I never have to hang a picture at the house. It's always straight to me, but to no one else it is. And but when I was in high school, it didn't serve me. In fact, when I was in high school, I had to wear a back brace that went from my chin all the way down to my pelvis, and that was a time when girls started becoming very interesting to me. And so I'm dealing with this. And then on top of that, I got to deal with things like my mother was an alcoholic. And so they would choose to go to have their fights out in the yard when the police would come and the neighbors would come. And, you know, when my parents finally got a divorce, that we didn't have any money. And so they would come out, and it was here in Tulsa. They would turn the water off because we couldn't pay the bill. And so, but I learned how to go turn the water on, go take a cold shower, flush all the toilets, and go turn it off. And then even when I got involved with Chick-fil-A, the first store I asked for Woodland Hills Mall, and what they gave me was Eastland Mall. Eastland Mall was 4th from last in the chain. And when I look at all these, I had a great opportunity basically to become a victim. But that wasn't the choice I was going to make. And so, and we all have, you know, with all the businesses we have the opportunities to fail, but it's really about what are we going to choose. And so a couple of years ago, I actually wrote a book because I wanted my team members to know that Arthur didn't get this handed to him. Okay? It wasn't by accident that I became a multi-unit operator with Chick-fil-A. There's only about 14% of them in chain. It wasn't by accident. I wasn't at a swap meet and found a 9-foot tall Chick-fil-A replica cup to make a Guinness World Record. Those things are very deliberate. Those are things that I chose to do. And so I wrote this book for them. It's called Dysfunctional Inspiration. I do have them in the back. And with this book, today, if you guys buy them, I actually have a CD with a ton of crazy marketing ideas. If you guys are already going, this guy's nuts, wait till you hear this. But I wrote it because I wanted them to go on to greater things than I have. When I was at Eastland Mall, and I was fourth from last in the chain, I was 22 years old, Chick-fil-A hired me, and they said, we have this one opportunity for you, the Eastland Mall. And I was like, okay. And then by the end of the training at the home office, they sat me down and said, we have some concerns about you as an owner. Boy, that really just, really helps your self-confidence there. Later, I found out that I was probably one of the only guys that had multiple corporate visits that year. Little did I know. I thought it was normal. But the first point I want to give to you guys is you got to get off your ask. And I said ask. Okay? You have to ask the questions. If I wanted to be a successful owner-operator, I would go to the other owners. I would call them up and say, how did you achieve this? What did you guys do to make this work? Where are you finding your employees? What are you doing to make this marketing work? And over, these guys were very receptive, and they would take me under their wing and they would teach me. In fact, I even use it now, all the time. If you, a little over a year ago, I said, you know what? I want to be a millionaire. I'm not there yet. And so I need to get to know kind of how the millionaires think. You can read the books and you can hear the things on TV and the magazines, but I wanted to talk to them. And so I was on LinkedIn, and this guy's name comes up. And I was like, it says that you can connect with them. So I thought, okay, I'll connect with them. I thought, their college intern is going to turn around and say, well, you're connected, and that's it. So I said, you know what, let's spice this up a little bit. So I sent him a message, and I said, I would like to meet with you. I'll go to Oklahoma City. I'll go wherever you want to meet with you. If you're in Tulsa, that'd be great. And again, I thought this was some college intern that was monitoring his social media. It wasn't, and I didn't put my phone number. I just thought he'd respond on the email. My wife calls me and said, so-and-so's secretary left you a message on our home phone, on our answer machine. I was like, really? And so I went home and called, and she said, he's coming to town, he'd like to meet with me. And so I started to meet with him. Since that time, I've sat down with about 6 different millionaires around the town and other places because I've asked. And one of the things I found from these people is they want to help people. It's sad because we give ourselves these self-limiting beliefs that we're not worthy or they're too busy or our time isn't worth it to them. That's not our decision to make. That's their decision. And if you're truly not worthy of them spending your time with them, then they're an idiot because they shouldn't have spent the time with you. But they're the ones who say yes. I haven't had anyone say no yet. Well, I did want to spend some time with Tori, and they said no. So they said she's too busy. She's texting. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm going to be thrown out of here. So it's get off your ask. The next thing is be remarkable. And when I say be remarkable, it's be someone that people remark about. Make your business something that people remark about. At my store, some of the things that we do at Chick-fil-A, I have the Chick-fil-A at 71st and Garnett and Woodland Hills Mall. Okay? So if we messed up in your drive-thru order, I apologize. We'll deliver it out to you. But at our store, I train our employees to look for opportunities. And we had this one guy named Jared. And Jared is a raving fan of Chick-fil-A, loves Chick-fil-A, loves everything about us. And his coworkers came up one day, and they were telling us how he loves Chick-fil-A so much that he would marry it. Okay, well, you can't put that on my lap and not expect me to do something with it. So we're like, okay. Well, then we found out his birthday was coming up. So we said, this is a raving fan of ours. Let's go ahead and let's just cater out to his office. So we called the office and said, can we bring food out there? And they said, sure, no problem. And so we brought some food out there, and we thought, let's add a little spice to this. So we decided to bring the Chick-fil-A cow there in a princess outfit and propose. Now, maybe someone can explain some of this media stuff to me because I have multiple Guinness World Records, and sometimes I can only get the news to come out occasionally, and I had 3 stations come out and cover this event. So Jared says yes. but he's a liar because a few weeks later he got married to someone else, and the cow has been in therapy, and if you guys ever notice now, the cows can't spell because of it. But then Jared came to me and said, Arthur, I want to write a love song about Chick-fil-A. And I said, well, you're going to have to let me proof it because I get in enough trouble without needing extra people to enhance that with the home office. And so he came to me with this video that they had produced, and we're going to go ahead and show it to you guys.
I've got something to say. I never wanted something so bad in my lifetime, but I can't have it because it's Sunday, and I want you, Chick-fil-A. It all started. I was driving down the street, saw a cow with the sign, told me what I should eat, more chicken. Yo, then I started tripping. Love at first taste, when I look at your face, my whole world stands still, so does time and space. 6 whole days at my favorite place. Yeah, I'm lovesick today. 3 little syllables, Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, you feel so far away. Chick-fil-A, I'll see you on Monday. Sandwich, strips, nuggets, oh my, I could cry just by thinking about a waffle fry. I'm like a little boy feeling like $1,000,000 when I open up my char-grilled chicken deluxe. Spicy, with the medium lemonade. Fire meets ice, it's a flavor grenade. Now shake, yeah, cookies and cream. Cookies and cream. Chick-fil-A, you feel so far away. Chick-fil-A, I'll see you on Monday. I'm like a pirate who just found the treasure. When you hand me a meal and you say my pleasure. Yeah, I could bathe in sweet tea. I need you right now and I know you need me. See, we could be your family. Little chicken minis, what an ice dream. Drew and Kathy, I could give you a kiss for dreaming so big. Now listen to this. Oh, Chick-fil-A, you feel so far away. Yeah, Chick-fil-A, and I'll see you on Monday. I know we belong together. Chick-fil-A, you feel so far away. I know you got my number. I'll see you on Monday. Number 3, value size with the sweet tea. Hold the pickle. Chick-fil-A, I'll see you then.
The only cost I paid for that was basically taking some food out to this event, to this young man's place of work. He was the guy that said, "My pleasure," in that video. That video has been shown over almost 250,000 times. If I was to do a direct mail piece, which I don't ever do, but if I was to do one, it would cost me to reach that kind of audience about $93,000. Making things remarkable is a great return on investment. And again, we trained our staff to look for opportunities. Then we ended up taking that a little bit further. We looked for other opportunities in the restaurant. For example, if somebody left their wallet at home, or somebody their credit card doesn't clear, then we just go ahead and we take care of it. What a great opportunity. I mean, you're already kind of feeling stupid, so how do we take that and take it to where they're going home and talking about it? So we'll just go ahead and give it to them. I'm going to show you a couple videos right here. That basically, this is where we did a hamster ball relay, which was my latest Guinness World Record. And then we also did it where we took food to the teachers. And this is our way of taking something normal and making it a remarkable event.
I wanted something unique. Let's do something just crazy. I saw these Zorbs on TV. I was like, okay, that would be crazy to run in one of those.
And that insanity took shape this morning in East Tulsa in the form of the inaugural hamster ball relays. Arthur Greeno, who owns and operates a local Chick-fil-A, thought it'd be a fun way to get involved in the community.
At Chick-fil-A, we're always looking for community things to do. So we decided at that point to design a race. It's a 1.5-mile relay race, and it's a hard 1.5 miles.
The next 100 meters.
1.5 miles doesn't sound tough to almost any amateur runner, especially for a race that's equally split 5 ways per team. But the competitors agree.
Much harder. Balance is really key. Staying up in there is key because you fall over and start rolling, and everything kind of gets out the window. You need to stay on your feet and just keep a good pace.
So, what'd you say?
It was pretty fun, but a lot harder than we expected.
What was so hard about it?
You just got really tired trying to control the ball. It like slid out from under you a lot.
It's true, especially going down that slide at the end. But hey, it's all for a good cause. The entry fees go towards some local Tulsa charities, plus today's event is a new entry into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Well, Chick-fil-A is serving up something special for teachers at a Union Elementary School. The educators are the latest to have their lunchroom transformed by the restaurant chain as a way to say thank you. Channel 8 photojournalist Jack Fain was at Clark Elementary School for the big event.
At our stores, what we look to do for our guests is we want to treat them with honor, dignity, and respect. And we've found that we wanted to honor the teachers locally. And so by coming out here and doing something crazy like this for the teachers that they don't expect at all, it makes them feel appreciated. And you know what? Everybody needs that. And that's so important in life. And we just, this just is something we can do, so we do it.
It's so fluffy.
I feel excited. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not just selling chicken.
I think this is amazing. This is very amazing.
All right. This is the fourth lunchroom makeover for Chick-fil-A since last January. Their goal is to really pick things up and do one every month this school year.
If you guys want to look up so you don't get hit in the head, we have some parachuting cows coming in. We figured that I got to walk my talk. If we're going to make it remarkable, you got to walk around saying how parachuting cows came in. I would have had a helicopter come in if we weren't inside. All right, so one of the things I tell people is great marketing will get people in the door, but great people will keep them coming back. And at our restaurants, one of the things that when we train our crew, what I like to tell them is that one of the organizations I spend my time with is the Journey Training. Actually, Darcy was mentioning it before. I'm a volunteer facilitator for them, where we can take people on their path to greatness. And in the Journey Training, we talk about how people's number one fear is rejection. Their number one need is acceptance. So when people come to a restaurant, they don't want to have a problem. Okay? If somebody comes in with an expired coupon, we're going to honor it. The Greek word for restaurant means to rest. So when we come in there, when people go to restaurants, we want them to feel at ease. And you know, everyone has a story. And along the path, we get to influence so many people. And that influence could be as simple as us holding a door open for a mom who has kids. It could be walking a tray out to an older man who might not be able to carry his tray. It could be as simple as sharing a smile with a guest. But we train our people to look for those opportunities. And when people work for me for about 2 weeks, I sit down with them and I'll give them my book. Because they see Arthur coming and going all the time. You know, he's a successful businessman. He's doing all these things, and I like to share with them. Here's what I came from. I started at Woodland Hills, right down the street, making $6 an hour, and here's where I am today. But then we also show them a video that I benchmarked. I would have said stole, but I learned that benchmark is a more appropriate term from Dan Cathy's toolbox, and I now use it as part of my training process. It's called Everyone Has a Story. See, every life has a story, whether it's ours or our team members or our guests. What we try to encourage our people to is how can we impact their story with our business and make it remarkable. Thank you very much.
Do we have some questions out here?
Woo, I'm done. All right.
Arthur, would you just give them just a little taste of your bus trip at 14?
Bus trip at 14. When I was 14 years old, I was up at a camp in White Lake, Wisconsin, and I called home to tell Mom how excited I was. I was actually around some teenagers that had direction in their life. I didn't have that when I was growing up. And when I called home, Mom told me that they're moving, which didn't surprise me because by the time I got to 9th grade, I had been through 9 different schools. But they were leaving the next day. And so I said, well, where are we going? She said, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't know where Tulsa is. And apparently I didn't do well in school. And so while I was on when I was on the bus trip, it was a 19-hour drive. And so when I was on that bus trip to Tulsa, at that point, I was looking at what was going on around me, and I said, if I want something different in my life, I'm going to have to surround myself with better people. I'm going to have to do something different because what has happened in my life isn't working for me. By the time I got off that bus, I had decided I'm going to change everything. I had nothing to lose because I didn't have any friends yet. So I started looking for a different audience. I started looking to study in school. I had a D average going into 10th grade. And so I changed pretty much my whole mentality. So that, when you're on a bus trip at 14 years old, for 19 hours, you got a lot of time to think. This was before video games and phones, by the way.
On a Greyhound bus by yourself, right?
On a Greyhound bus, yes. So.
Wow. Well, we've got a question over here for you, Arthur.
Sir.
About 3 years ago, I was at a Union Bigsby football game in Bigsby, and the helicopter came, and all these little cows started falling from the sky.
Yes, sir.
Was that you?
That was, well, I participated in that. The guy in Bixby, he has that store, and so he organized it because Union is very paranoid of me bringing a helicopter in. What's up with that? So I figured out that I had to think a different way around it. I said, well, all the Union people are going to be in Bixby, and I said, do they mind out there? And he said, no. I said, well, let's go together and do this. But I started, years ago, I did a giant milkshake, and I brought the helicopter in. That was the first time that had ever been done. And when the legal department at Chick-fil-A found out about it, after the fact, they weren't real comfortable with it, but we pulled it off, and the response was amazing. I mean, everyone just loved it. And so since then, I got all kinds of owners calling me all over the chain. Now, how exactly did you pull this off? And I said, well, you start by don't telling the home office. So do we record that? I'm going to be in trouble again. So does that answer?
I have pictures of that event, and I will Facebook them to you.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you. So apparently that was a remarkable event. Yeah. So.
At least it wasn't WKRP in Cincinnati with turkeys, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Any other questions? Yes.
Besides your upbringing and your life changes, what I see it drove your passion. What background did you have, and what did you really want to be when you grew up? I mean, did you have a sight as this is your big picture?
It's an interesting story. I'll make it brief. I didn't come from, our background was very just all over the place. There was no real direction with my parents. And when I came to Tulsa, I come from a Christian stance now. And I wanted to be a youth pastor made a big difference in my life. The fact that he cared enough about me. And I was like, I want to be a youth pastor. So I decided to go to ORU to be a youth pastor. Well, when I get bored, bad things happen. I mean, good, but bad. And so I got real bored in some of the theology classes. So I decided to become an art major, didn't I? Melanie was in my classes, and she saw some of the crazy things that I would do. Really crazy. And so I changed to art. Well, then I fell in love with Chick-fil-A because I started at Woodland Hills, like I said, at $6 an hour. And what changed my life was when my sister passed away. I never get choked up. She passed away when she was 18, had her second child. And I was the only one in the family that had any money, and a credit card. And so I had to pay her for her funeral. And when I came back to Chick-fil-A, they saw how I was stretched, trying to go through school, deal with my family. And what ended up happening was they sent me to a grand opening, put me in a chicken suit of all things. Little did I know. I learned about Chick-fil-A, and I learned about how they cared about their people. And that's what really changed me. I never had a business class. Read tons of books, loved to go learn. That's one of the reasons I was one of the only guys in here. Applaud you guys. Yay. Run around more. It'll make it seem like there's more. And so I love learning. And so that's what really, that Chick-fil-A is one of the big reasons I'm so passionate about Chick-fil-A and what they do. And I hate speaking. I like teaching. I like people being inspired. But even sitting back there, I was like, man, I got to go to the bathroom. And so I get so nervous. So does that answer your question? So, plus some. I'm waiting for the big hook to come, pull me off the stage.
Well, before her question, I just want to tell you, you are super cute, by the way.
Thank you. She agrees. I'm a hunk of burning love.
Okay, so my question is, you're obviously an owner of a couple Chick-fil-A's, not
Yes, ma'am.
Chick-fil-A bit, the whole thing.
Correct.
So when you do these different events, I mean, like, the gentleman over here didn't seem to know that you were part of that. So, like, the hamster thing that you did, I mean, are people knowing that it's your Chick-fil-A stores? Because it sounds like your philosophy may be different than some of the other stores. So how does that...
No, you're right, and it is.
So how do people, I mean, you're putting time and effort into building your brand for your two stores, but how are you getting across that your two stores are different than maybe a different one?
There's a fine line in there. And when the other stores started coming into market, for a while I was the only guy in town. So when I would do these big things, I would get all this attention. And my sales were just growing. I mean, we're doing 20% increases. A girl at the home office said, you can't, I said, I'm going to do a 17% sales increase. And she said, at both stores? I said, yes. And she goes, I bet you won't. Because no one does that. And I said, if I do it, I want you to wear a Catwoman outfit at seminar. And she goes, well, you got to wear a Superman outfit. And I was like, fine, because I already have one. And so then at that point, I won. But the thing is that when all the other stores started coming in, all my marketing was benefiting them. You know what? I can't spend my time worrying about that. And I spent a lot of time worrying about that when they first started coming in. I finally said, you know what? That's not me. I wasn't happy. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to go do it. And if people want to know which the best store is, it's 71st and Garnett, by the way, or Woodland Hills Mall. But you know what? If like Libby was saying earlier, if I'm benefiting Chick-fil-A as a chain, it's gonna make a difference for everybody. And so because like our chicken biscuits, which I gave you guys all one of them, we push and push.